Cracks began to split across the floor of the mansion. The walls trembled violently. And from the basement, a cold wind rose so chilling that every breath carried the scent of death. Edwin had risen. He was no longer entirely human, nor entirely ghost. His face was half burned, but his eyes remained the same, staring at Saya, recognizing her. "You've come back, Sarah. No one will separate us now." Sia froze for a moment in fear, but as Edwin stepped closer, her fears began to melt away. She reached out to touch Edwin's face, and as her fingers brushed his skin, black dust crumbled away from him. Edwin was incomplete, and there was only one way to make him whole again, through love or sacrifice. Sia had read the old files of the Grantham Society. They were clear. The Whitley bloodline must never reunite with Ray again. Their union creates a force that defies death. It meant that if Sarah and Edwin reunited, Edwin could overcome death and return to life. That's why Edwin had been buried alive. Now, Sia stood at a crossroads. She could either flee the mansion or help Edwin take his final breath and return fully human at the cost of her own soul. Edwin's breaths were faltering. Just one touch and he'll be whole again. Sia took Edwin's hand. The mansion's walls began to glow red. Blood started to seep through the cracks in the floor. Edwin's eyes were slowly turning human again, but in exchange, Sia's eyes were darkening. Sia collapsed, and from the ceiling, a white light descended upon her. "Now you are incomplete. Now your breath will be Edwin's." Red veins appeared on the mansion walls, like blood flowing through ancient arteries. Sia's breathing was ragged. Dark circles spread beneath her eyes, as if something was draining her life force. Edwin's face now looked entirely human. He was the same man who had once loved Sarah Sia's past incarnation. His skin was warm again, his eyes deep blue, but behind his smile was something that no longer felt human. "I am whole now, Sarah," Edwin whispered. But at that very moment, a symbol emerged on the wall behind him, the cursed insignia of the Grantham Society, 3 interlocking triangles, and a blood-red eye in the center. Outside the mansion, violent winds roared. The ticking of old clocks echoed through the air. And at the front door, 6 shadowy figures appeared, the current members of the Grantham Society. They were the ones who had buried Edwin long ago, and they had come again to stop him. Their faces were covered with white masks, each marked with the same blood-red eye. They began chanting an ancient incantation. The mansion shook violently. Edwin must be stopped. If Whitley and Ray bloodlines unite, they will erase death forever. The voice of the society's leader echoed. She screamed suddenly. Memories flooded her mind, the memories of Sarah's life. She remembered how she had left her family for Edwin and how the society had threatened to bury her alive with him. But a secret had remained hidden. Was Sia or Sarah merely a lover? Or was there something deeper, something darker within her? Edwin grabbed Sia's hand. "Sarah, we must become one now this time. No one will stop us." He slit her wrist gently. A drop of BE. Lewd fell and hit the floor, sending a reverberation throughout the mansion. The walls split open. The stairs crumbled apart. The members of the Grantham Society burst into the room. "Her blood is the key." "Stop her!" the leader shouted. The society members began chanting with ancient talismans and books. Cracks formed on Edwin's skin. His newly restored humanity began unraveling again. Sia's mind was torn. Should she save Edwin, or trust the society and bury him once more? But at that moment, the society's leader revealed the ultimate truth, Sarah. "You don't understand. Edwin is not just your lover. He is the last descendant of the Ray bloodline, whose blood has the power to defeat death itself. If he becomes whole again, he will be immortal, and every soul on earth will be his slave." Shia shivered. Was the man she loved truly a greater threat than death itself? From the cracks in the walls, The souls of all those buried alive by the Grantham Society over the past 200 years began to emerge. Screams, whispers, shadows crawling across the floors. Edwin looked toward the society. I am no longer incomplete. Now I will destroy you all. He touched the wall with one hand. Hundreds of souls merged into his body. Edwin's form was no longer human. Black fluid coursed through his veins. His eyes turned deep crimson, and his voice transformed into something ancient and inhuman. Sarah, just one final step. Come with me, and the whole world will be ours. Shah gazed into Edwin's eyes. This was no longer the man she had loved. He was now a creature driven by hunger for power. The society's leader threw a final talisman toward her. Place this on his heart. It will end his rebirth. But remember, the souls bound by your blood will also be freed. Maybe even you. The talisman trembled in Sia's palm. Edwin's red eyes pierced deep into her soul. The chanting of the society's leader faded, as though time itself had frozen inside the mansion. Edwin stepped forward. Dark shadows swirled around him. The blood-stained lines on the walls shifted into ancient Latin. Fiat aeternum, vincit mortem. Let eternity be born. Death shall be conquered. Sarah, don't leave me. Edwin's voice was no longer human. It echoed, deep and otherworldly. Tears rolled down Sia's cheeks. She remembered everything. All the lives, all the love, and the betrayals. Suddenly, the society leader's voice thundered. Shia, don't look into his eyes. He's binding your mind. You must understand, Edwin wasn't buried just because of his powers. It was because of you. Shia gasped. The leader removed his white mask, and beneath it was a familiar face. Her own ancestor. Lord Elias Grantham, the founder of the Grantham Society in the 1800s. You think Sarah was just a lover? No. You are the last heir of the Whitley bloodline. Your blood holds the balance, the power to either make Edwin immortal or destroy him forever. The ground beneath Sia seemed to crumble away. It meant she wasn't just a character in this tale. She was the key. Edwin stretched out his hand toward two society members. Their bodies rose into the air, dissolving into black smoke and merging into him. His face now fully twisted, half human, half shadow. His lips curled into a half smile, half grimace. Souls trapped inside the mansion swirled around Sia. Some wept, some laughed, some whispered ominously. Sarah, come with Edwin. You'll be immortal. Elias, the society's leader, leaned toward Sia. This talisman can stop the union of your blood and Edwin's, but it's deadly to you too. You must choose, join Edwin and plunge the world into eternal darkness, or end it all and break this cycle forever. Sia's breaths grew heavy. The talisman burned in her hand. Edwin extended his arms and whispered, Sarah, think carefully. Together, we can conquer death. We can be eternal lovers. Calmness settled on Sia's face. She took a deep breath, sliced her wrist, and let a few drops of her blood fall onto the talisman. A blinding light burst forth, so intense the mansion walls shook violently. Edwin screamed. The souls trapped within him began pouring out. Elias stared in awe. This is the oldest power of the Whitley bloodline. Shah gazed at Edwin. Tears filled her eyes of love and farewell. Goodbye, Edwin. This is the end. She pressed the talisman against his heart. A massive explosion tore through the mansion. The roof collapsed. All the souls vanished into the night sky. The first rays of dawn broke through. Grantham House was now just a burnt, crumbled ruin. Shah lay unconscious on the grass, but she was alive. Elias approached her. You saved the balance. Edwin and his dark power are gone forever. Tears streamed down Sia's face, but her expression was peaceful. Yet the story does not end here. Far away, A shadow lingered, unseen by anyone, a faint glimpse of Edwin in tattered clothes. His lips whispered softly, "Sarah. Sometimes love is stronger than death. I will return,